Hi everyone, my name is Adarshini. Welcome to A Love Affair with the Divine. Today I'll be sharing a little bit about the void within, what I call the void within. And I have so many people in my practice who always tell me that they feel lonely, or sometimes even after the sessions with me, they feel like a void, and this kind of unsettles them, like they are not comfortable with this. So I wanted to address this feeling today and talk a little bit about it. So, I believe like my experience is how this void that we feel is part of us, and is part of who we are. And if you ever feeling lonely and feeling scared and uncomfortable in that void, I want to let you know, first of all, that you're not the only one, that everyone has experienced this void in one way or another in their life. Let's make this clear first. And if one has not experienced this, is most probably because we are so busy feeling that void. We are so busy feeling that, um, wanting to cover up that feeling of being lonely, or that feeling that we get when we feel that void, like this unsettling feeling. And I this void is part of us. This void is something we'll always feel, and then it's up to us to understand what this void really is. Whether how you will label it. Would you label it as, would you allow your mind to take over this experience and tell yourself that I'm feeling lonely, I should not be feeling this way, or I should not, I should be out and about and happy all the time? Or would you give yourself permission and dive into that feeling of what the mind will call loneliness, but which is probably not just that, you know. So I truly, in my experience, I've experienced this void um, so many years ago. For me, it felt like something was cracked open, and suddenly I started to see and experience this void within me, and it was not something I was, of course, comfortable with at the beginning, but it was just there. It was like this void presence that was always there, that I was perceiving, and that was perceiving as well. So I could feel how that void was perceiving, or I, or both, were perceiving. I was perceiving all my thoughts. I could see there was like this separation that happened. For me, it was like I was cracked open. There was this separation that happened, and I started to see my thoughts as separate from me, and it became normal. But then I didn't realize that it's probably not the experience of everyone. How people are so engrossed in their own thoughts that it becomes them, that their thoughts become them, and we literally sometimes believe everything that our mind is saying, and believing that it is ours, believing that our thoughts are real, and that our thoughts are ours, are meant to be taken seriously. So I wanted to invite you to connect to that void that you feel. In that world where we live, we are so addicted to experience. We are so addicted to desiring to experience things in order not to feel that void, in order not to feel that loneliness. And this is what I believe creates addictions. I feel addictions are created with that need and desire to cover up that hole within, that hole, HOLE, which also equals to that hole, WHOLE, within. And so I would invite you to, whenever you feel this loneliness, whenever you feel that emptiness, that void within, to just take a moment, and if ever you are having this thought of I'm lonely, or this should not be here, how long will I be lonely, how long will I be feeling this way, beyond all this, I invite you to close your eyes in this moment or in that moment and go within, tune into. And my invitation for you is to dive deeper into that void, to be open to it, to open yourself, and with great curiosity, without any labeling and without any desire to fix or change anything in the present moment. I invite you to enter that void. So it would be with you closing your eyes. So when we close our eyes, it's very much that indication that we are cutting off the stimulus of the outside world and we are turning inwards. So I would invite you to close your eyes and turn inwards and just check within this void and just sit with it. Sit with that void that you feel. Sit with that feeling of loneliness, but do not feed the thoughts of the mind. And just check within. Is that void that you feel really that scary? Is it as scary? Is it as lonely as the mind described it to be? What is that void? I invite you to just look within with great curiosity. As I said, with no need to change or shift anything in this moment, with no need for this feeling of loneliness to go away. I invite you to just tune within and be curious, be open, to look into that void, that feeling of void. Maybe you can connect to your breath, breathing slowly as you introspect. Turning your gaze within. Check within. How does that void feel now? Does it feel as scary, as lonely as what the mind described it to be? Or maybe you have loosened yourself of that fear that the mind was creating, and you're slowly allowing yourself to settle in that vastness, in that void, in that vastness, in that emptiness that you're feeling within. Continue to look, continue to explore that void now. Now that it's not that scary, how does it feel? Continue to breathe through it. Continue to look within. And whatever thoughts the mind might want to throw in, distracting you from this moment of inquiry, do not feed it. Continue to look deeper within that void, that emptiness. Now that you're looking within, does this void feel separate from you? Have a look at who you are. Who are you, the one who's perceiving this void? Are you separate from that void, or are you one with that void within? Can you allow yourself to relax, to let go, to free fall into that emptiness? Just a moment. And look, is that void as empty and scary? Or is it full? Or is it full? Or is it full of your own presence, of your own awareness, of the fullness of who you are, the fullness of being? How does this void feel now? Do you feel the vastness of it? Do you feel how infinite it is? And check, are you separate from this infinity? Are you separate from that void? And allow yourself to go deeper and look. Are you separate from that infinite expansion that you're feeling within? Don't allow your mind to interfere, and continue to look within. I will leave you here with your inquiry into that vastness. I invite you, every time that you feel lonely, every time that you feel that loneliness, to meet it, to go within, forgetting all the labels of the mind, and really check within, what is it? For me, this void that we feel, this loneliness, that then the mind labels as lonely, but this void and emptiness is the depth of our being calling us to meet it. It's like an invitation to meet ourselves deeper, to meet the sacred within us, to meet that from which creation arises, that of which we are part of, and therefore that which we feel, that which it calls us at some moments, some period of our life, calling us an invitation, to understand our true nature. So thank you for tuning in here with me today, and thank you for sharing this moment of stillness and inquiry with me. And my invitation is for you to dive into it, you can make it a practice, especially whenever this feeling of loneliness arises, and I invite you to stay away from that urge to fill it in, that urge to fill that void in. We are in this world we live, we don't lack any distractions. This world is full of distractions. So many things distract us from that call from within. So if you want to truly understand your true nature, and if you want to truly dive into your being, my invitation would be to not feed the distractions and go within. So on this, I'll leave you. I'm sending you much love and best wishes on your inquiry, and I will see you in my next video. Much love.